Once I was a crusader for the Divine Order. I pledged my life to Lucian the Divine. The war changed everything. He sent me to save the elves I grew up amongst. I arrived too late. Lucian ordered the use of death fog against the Black Ring, annihilating everyone I once knew in the process. Now I'm a mercenary killer, one of the infamous Lone Wolves. And my next target is none other than Lucian's own son.
I was just thinking about someone I used to know. My cousin, the Queen, in fact. A tyrant. I tried to stop her, but things don't always go according to plan. She cast me out to a forgotten island, and made short work of my allies, too. Lucky for me, I was able to commandeer a ship, and began a new life for myself, out on the high seas. Aye, but I hear that the Queen is at it again, and there's something darker behind her madcap schemes this time. If I don't stop her, I don't know who will.
All my life, I've been a performer, a musician, beloved and celebrated by all. But I have a secret. I'm also a playground for sprites and spirits and... worse. The voice that rings inside me now is darker than any that came before. Almost caused a bunch of my fans to rip each other to pieces. But you can trust me. I've got this under control. Step 1. Find out who, or what, is trying to take control of my mind. Step 2. Make it sorry it ever tried.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared, and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now. No need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me.
The things I do to complete a contract. Nice haircut, Smiley. Rubbish. Well, that explains the smell, anyway.
Did you expect a needle?
shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully, her rectangular eyes like letterboxes to the void. With one sharp hoof, she kicks you right in the shin. Did you expect a needle?
Rubbish. Click. This floor plate triggered something.
The Magister Guard snorts and sniffles as he sleeps. You're almost impressed that one man can make such a phlegmy racket.
Is my shift over? Wait, you're no Magister. You're a sorcerer. What are you doing here, filthy scrounger? Choose your words carefully. My fists ache to meet a new face. Those idiots can't even walk straight without mucking it up. Can't just leave the prisoner alone, though. I heard he might be the one causing trouble upstairs. If it's all the same, I think it's best he comes with me. Keep your hands where I can see them.
Rubbish.
Hurry it up, sorcerer. We haven't got all day.
No. No. Impossible. That's one problem solved. A dead Magister.
So much
Somebody
for
will
a
have to
peaceful
take
stroll.
the blame for this, and it won't be me.
Empty.
Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. There you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have... You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters.
I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
Dungeon? You have the gall to call my laboratory a dungeon? I'd be quite annoyed with you.
Index fingers pressed to her lips. She pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing glance.
My word. You do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good.
She frowns and peers at you closely, resting the back of one hand.
Delusions such as these are rare, but not unheard of. I recommend a couple...
No known associates. In fact, he seemed
Now,
quite
where did I
averse
leave
to
my
spending time
calipers?
with the others.
Bloody murder. Looks like someone's hit the Hall of Echoes a little early.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. We'll find out who did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless...
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. I thought as much. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears up. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Not in here, it isn't. You let me know if you hear anything.
Behind the Magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does.
A young Magister...
No known associates. In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time with
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
Please, please, please! That's enough.
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel.
Snake eyes.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
She shakes her head.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice. Deciding fates. Don't worry, honey.
She looks you up and down with the merest...
Never say never, though.
She eyes you quite...
Not the future, no. But I can read the past. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
It was one of them. I know it.
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, it seems you and another elf, only rather more vigorously.
To the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Of course it is. The truth's right there. But don't you worry, darling. Your secret. I don't lick and tell.
I'll tell you if you've been quiet long enough for me to listen.
How dare you classify this slop?
The Magister starts.
You look just like...
The Magister's face turns white. He makes a move to step backwards.
It is you. Ifan Ben Mesd. I remember you. You were my captain's commander way back in the war.
And I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder.
The Magister smiles, a tight little smile. With visible effort, he stops himself from saying whatever it was he was about.
On your way, sorcerer. On your way.
When you clearly don't know the first thing about swords.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
Well, what have we here? A fresh face in this...
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
My, we are fierce, aren't we? Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Oh, goodness, no. And don't even mention the demon. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
Ask what you must. I've nothing to hide.
Seems to me you should be...
Yes, I can tell from your vagabond chic. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
The very basics, then. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. As per your own testimony, you can groom, but you have the taste buds of a dung beetle, and the fashion... That won't do at all, see? I'm sad to say I must deny you the opportunity to be my slave. Ever so sorry.
Reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad?
My slave, of course.
Surely.
Oh, still. Hone your skills, and one day you...
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled... Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs. You know all about it.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
No, please don't come begging me. I told you.
You, Jill, is that right? I've a few questions for you.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed. He raises an eyebrow as you approach.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
Bloody dwarves. I'll come back to you, and you better be ready to talk here.
His eyes snap.
Murder? Ah, I wouldn't know anything about it. I kill a man. He knows who done it. His daddy knows who done it. And the mayor knows who done it.
His eyes flutter shut.
Whether they catch me is another matter. But I ain't one to hide my accomplishments.
And I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder.
The ship, of course.
That has the Magister's more concern than your appetite.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates. The groaning.
And? Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless... But there's more. Listen close. There now, just like that.
Squeak!
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other...
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news.
That has the Magister's more concern than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me.
It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for... Yes! Only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
You sure about that? No. What's your name? No. Gods, did you
Captain, actually. And that figure tells me we're getting close to the Joy.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lip.
You one of them? A Divine Order loyal? They killed a sorcerer, you know. They'll...
Slop as food. I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with...
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up. He reaches out and takes your hand, turning it this way and that, examining it from every angle. Finally, he pinches your skin.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Oh, please. I have no interest in... No. I want to know about the Celestial. This text tells me that they created all... Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
The elf's face freezes for just a second.
Oh, it's just one of my idle curiosities. We mortals do like to consider these... Now, please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book.
It's a register, sir. Good, good. Magister, what you faring okay so far? Of course I do. Seems Voidwoke can dog your heels like you'll see. We're gonna... You head on in now. Well...
Dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of places.
And if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter?
Murder most foul. And I strongly suspect you know all about it.
I've never died on
Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the...
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God! The woman's... You there, sorcerer! Go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though.
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts Source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally. She doesn't stir.
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
Her hand lies limp in yours. She's too weak to stand.
The dice roll darkly. They're rolling for me.
Oh! What? What happened? Must have been the turnips. Water? What?
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. He's...
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
And I'm back where I started. Nowhere to go but up. Damn. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards. Not long before this thing snaps into splinters. God damn it. Need to get off this wreck. Quick.
Pass through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and the skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia, muttering to himself.
No! What damn fools record knowledge on a pulped tree? It catches fire, it turns into must when wet, it cannot even resist—
The skeleton looks up and notices you've—
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book.
I know your god did not gift you with much, but kindly use the— Do you look at me and think, why yes, there is someone with organs enough to drown? Trifling matters like water and poison do not concern— No, damp robes are the most I have to fear. Once this glorified skiff hits the sea floor, whereas you, I believe, have lifeboats to pointlessly squabble over. I believe you did. Although I was wearing the face of an elf at the time. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which a mask that was stolen by that damned witch after her. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. Indeed, just as sensible as getting off a sinking I would say good day, but it seems quite likely that you're about to die a rather terrible death.
The skeleton shrugs casually and was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize the symbol immediately for what it is. You press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm, but simply grey. The color drains from your hand, and you are left numb. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an ashen
Death fog! I need to get out of here now!
to plot the ship.